The very first trailer, I was very excited for Mario Kart World. I feel like the general public online is trying to make us less excited by saying the intermission tracks look too boring, there's not a lot going on, there's lots of open straightaway roads, and that the price of the game is $80, there's not a story mode, which all of these could be very valid points. And I even completely agree with some of these. I will admit, some of these complaints have made me feel a little lower on this game, especially after the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct and they didn't really show us anything new. It did make me feel a little less interested than I was before. But what changed exactly? What is it that made me kind of spin all the way around and now make me extremely excited for this game when I was already just normally excited? It all started from yesterday's video. I made a video ranking all 30 tracks in the game so far, based off of early views of these tracks. Of course, we've not raced on them, so it's hard to give them an accurate rating. It was more based on my personal excitement for each track that I've seen so far, ranking them from least excited to most excited for. As I was going through that video and going through all the gameplay footage, I started getting extremely excited for this game. I started seeing things on some of the tracks that I've seen a lot of people not even bring up, and some stuff that really excited me. Now, Nintendo actually showed off this whole portion of the Mario Kart Direct dedicated to tricks, and I thought that was kind of weird, but they showed this off, and for the most part I was pretty excited with what they were showing. It was cool showing off the wall riding and the wall flips and the rail riding and even the brand new jump or charge jump mechanic that you can do in order to jump on these walls or rails. And this is the part of the Direct that caught my eye the most out of everything I've seen in the entire show.
This can come in handy when mapping out how to best approach a course.
Like, are you seeing this? Birdo jumps off of a trick onto a side wall, then onto a rail, flips onto another side wall, rides it, tricks off of that, jumps back onto another rail, and back onto the path. Are you kidding me? Like, this alone got me so excited, and I was like, okay, clearly this is just something for this specific track, Salty Speedway, because I said there's no other tracks that I've seen so far have this much potential for trick opportunities. As you can tell, this stuff is definitely worth doing. It's giving the character speed boosts and allowing you to move on a different path entirely compared to everybody else down below Birdo. Like, she's literally taking her own different separate path on this one track. So I wanted to see if every other track had something very similar, and as I was going through my 30 track ranking yesterday, oh my gosh, I got so excited. I'm not going to show off and talk about every single track that I showed off in my 30 track ranking the other day. Yeah, I'm going to keep mentioning it. Go watch it. It was a fun video to make. But anyways, yes, I'm not going to show off every single track because not every single one really brings my point home the way I want to bring it across with this video. So that includes Desert Hills. Why is this track in the game? This is Peach Stadium. Look quickly to the left here after this ramp. You could hang left and find a grind rail which takes you to this top part where the awning goes over the side of the course. Look at the top of the track here. You can see where there's two separate pieces that you can actually ride on. You can probably flip over to that right ledge where the tower is as well, meaning there's lots of opportunities to grind on different parts of the track instead of taking this basic middle road. It's even shown off a little bit within that Mario Kart World Direct. I'm going to make a whole video about this one item because I feel like it's going to break this game in a good way. Look at Mario use his feather to jump off of the ramp to actually land on this piece of railing that takes you on a quicker inside path down the track's loop. This is amazing, and stuff like this makes me so excited for this game. It's just the beginning. Look at the ramp on Wario Stadium. If you look to the far left and right sides of the track, you'll notice two guardrails. One that goes up far up to the right, it looks like it can ramp you off of it, and one to the left that looks like it connects to a bunch of other ones that follow the fencing. This shows that there's going to be lots of grind rails for us to look for, almost like little track Easter eggs that also gives us an advantage. Go further into this track, you'll see tons of paths that are above the racers that you can actually ride on the sides of that wall. It looks like long strips of wall that you can eventually wall jump your way up to in order to have a quicker turn around the corner. Just driving through the actual bazaar section of Shy Guy Bazaar is now grind rails all above the street shops. I mean, look at all those different rails that you can ride on instead of just taking this boring bottom path. Sky High Sunday looks 10 times better with a right path that takes you above with a little ice rail to ride on as well, and it also opens up to like 2 to 3 different lanes eventually, a left, a right, and a middle lane to drive on. And of course, we've even seen from Nintendo Nintendo themselves that you can literally ride on the side of the wall on the loop now in order to get around even faster. Like, there's courses actually made to allow you to cheat like this, I guess you can call it. It's not even really cheating now, it's like a brand new mechanic that they're encouraging. We only have a small quick look at Cheap Cheap Falls already, but look at all the paths. You have this giant telephone wire to the right it looks like you can grind on, or this little path that you can take to the right instead of going on the water. There just seems to be lots of dynamic areas to drive on this time around instead of one dedicated path. Whistle Stop Summit might seem like one of the first more basic tracks in the game, but it's actually extremely dynamic. Look at all the railing systems, the active train that's going around the course in real time as you're racing. It looks like it's on a world clock where it will continue to be in different spots when you get to this area, which will drastically change up which path you want to choose. I mean, shoot, look at the rail on the right. You could even trick off into that sign onto the right, ride it, and back onto the rail just to get even more of a speed boost if you wanted to. Besides the train rail at the top and the path at the bottom, you could even use a mushroom to go through the little tunnel on the right if you have one. I was literally about to upload this video and had to go back and include this. Look really closely at the top of the train. Yep, there's a boost pad on top of the train as well. So there's another option you can take by riding the top of the train all the way to the front and ramping off the top of the train, which is crazy. For Toad's Factory, you can see the conch door actually ride up a wall to get to a higher path, and it looks like there's even more walls that you might even be able to ride on if you continue to ride on the left or right before entering the machine section. Look at the end section for Toad's Factory. As you're jumping out of the factory onto the ramp, look at the giant cranes holding the giant metal girders. It's very clear that if King Boo just hung to the left on the ramp, he could ride these as grind rails and probably jump from one to the other to cut this part of the track literally in half, which is just insane to think about. Take this section from Acorn Heights. As you're going downhill, you'll notice tons of foliage from leaves, flowers, roots, and even bouncy mushrooms straight from Mushroom Gorge that you can bounce off of to get your way down this hill. And there's so many different options and paths that one could take depending on your items that you have. You could maybe choose the bouncy mushrooms to get your way down, or maybe the leaves with boost panels on them in order to fly down if you wanted to, or maybe just grind down on the roots and vines of the flowers. There's so many different paths, or maybe you want to just drive on the sides of the walls here. There's so many different potential patterns that you can choose to get down this hill. I mean, it's really going to be exciting to see what the actual meta is and what's the fastest way to get down this area. Not to mention, the following area has like 5 branching paths and even more grind rails and opportunities to choose different paths. I mean, going around this track 3 times with 3 laps is going to feel very special. Of course, it's Mario Kart. We knew there would be shortcuts, but it seems like the shortcuts in this game lead to even more shortcuts. If you use a mushroom and dash through those wooden crates in order to go through the grass area, which already cuts this section in half, but it then leads you to another guardrail that only you can get on if you take that path, which with 24 racers, this greatly helps people that are way back in the pack. If you look at this part of Great Question Block Ruins, there's a giant sidewall that you can ride as well to wrap around the corner and get a speed boost as you jump off and trick. And look how open this section is. There's at least 3 different paths to take. You can go to the left and bounce off the cloud to get to the higher path. You can hang onto the rail to the right to get to that high section of the course, or you can just stay in the middle and take the course normally. We already touched on Salty Speedway with Birdo, but there's just even more to this track. There's boats that you can ramp off of that's going down the middle of the river, and that river is just one of the few paths. You can also take a land path for most of the time if you don't want to be on the water. But once again, the game is giving you the freedom to choose how you want to handle the race. Do you want to be on land? Do you want to be on the water? Would you rather ride rails to get to the end, or would you rather be on the wall, or maybe combine all of these to get the fastest path? The last track I want to cover is Dino Jungle, which also looks like it's filled with different opportunities to take different paths. One thing I noticed is look how it looks like this dinosaur's tail is stuck to the ground. There might be multiple variants of these tracks which allows you to go the opposite direction or just from a completely different direction if you're doing, for instance, a knockout tour, which probably shows that that tail is going to be a grind rail that you can ride to the top of the dinosaur, and this is further explained with the next scene. Before you take one of the 2 ramps, look at the dinosaur down into the water. It looks like you'll be able to dash into it and ride it like a grind rail all the way up to the head. You can even see where the spine of the dinosaur pretty much looks like a yellow grind rail. Not to mention, you can see an item box on the back of the dinosaur as well. Then when you drive inside the laboratory, you can see up on the wall there's an area for you to wall ride, and there's a secret section to the top left. If you go through this section, you'll see on the outside it'll take you around the top part of this path, which will take you out of the way of all the geysers and also put you right in the path of the giant T-Rex breaking through the wall, which you'll probably have to jump out of its way or try to go above him by jumping off the top of the ramp there. What I just showed you is only a few few examples from what I've seen so far of the tracks that we've even gotten to see any of so far from demos and from Nintendo's Treehouse. Don't forget, there's over 118 different intermission tracks, and the ability to do them forward and backward is going to have almost endless possibilities, at least it's going to feel like, when you're racing on these actual tracks or these intermission tracks. And if these intermission tracks has stuff like this where you can flip and ride and find secret paths in order to get ahead of the pack, this game is going to be full of exciting new meta. I can definitely see this game being one of the more skillful Mario Kart games ever, which is super exciting. And this alone has made me so excited for this game. I can't wait to try these tracks out and see what other secrets lie on the other tracks as well. I knew there was a free roam mode in this game, which kind of showed how this game is open world, but it even looks like the tracks themselves have open world elements, giving you so many paths to choose from as well. But let me know in the comments down below if I was able to hype you up about this game even more. Did I make it worse for some reason? I doubt I made it worse, but hopefully you're hyped at least a little bit more about Mario Kart World. But let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.